Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo Part 20. Remember to get this on to 200 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a direct descendant of the sage over an Anime King. Link will be at the top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And over on Anime King 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto had a new dream that will change everything, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Sasuke was furious as he attacked Itachi. Itachi was surprised when he saw his brother burst of speed, as Sasuke tapped into the curse mark, and the power that had been, well, placed inside accidentally by Naruto flew through Sasuke's system, as Itachi saw his brother's eye became silver the Sharingan. That caught him off guard a bit, but Itachi was still considered a S-class missing nin, as he was easily able to push back Sasuke, as Mito joined in as well, as Naruto and Kisame stood there and watched, until Naruto pissed off Kisame as Kisame slammed Samehada into him, breaking him through the hotel. The both of them started a battle, as Naruto started to call and pull lightning from the heaven, destroying the area around. The both of them fighting started to destroy the hotel, and destroy the surrounding houses. People were now in fear, worrying for their life. Mito had to scream for her brother to calm down, because if he did not, he would end up destroying the entire place. As Naruto realized he might have went a bit overboard, as he calmed himself, as Itachi and Kisame end up retreating after Jiraiya arrived. They arrive a distance away as Kisame felt a grown coughing up blood. He could understand why now that boy was able to hold off the Raikage, as Kisame had really begun to enjoy the battle. Even though a part of him, which he would not say to Itachi, felt like he was going to die right there. But that boy was just something else, and given his age, that made it even worse. As when you grow up, you become a real monster. A devil in the making. The group then headed off once again searching for Itachi, as Jiraiya had regaled them with the news of the Akatsuki, and they were after Mito and the tail beast inside of her. The group ended up finding Tsunade in a bar, as Naruto was looking at her strangely as Jiraiya spoke to her. He ended up tapping her with his staff, right on her forehead, breaking the genjutsu that made her look young. Tsunade slammed her fist into his face, as she went out there to murder him. When Jiraiya and the others arrived, Tsunade was tied up, as Naruto had liquidated his staff turned to a chain, and she couldn't do anything, as she couldn't even feel her chakra at the moment. As Jiraiya convinced her to speak to him, if he get Naruto to stay outside. She didn't want that brat anywhere near her, she might end up killing him, even though she heard about the regales of what happened. At the moment, almost the entire world knew about what happened with Naruto. Faced off against the Raikage in the name, Naruto Uzumaki was going around, as people still couldn't believe it, that one boy, a single boy, could defeat the Raikage and his Jinchurikis, stopping him from invading Konoha. The power balance for the world was currently shifting, as Konoha was breeding strong, powerful offsprings now, someone to be that deadly to take on a Kage that was unbelievable. Zetsu was watching, as he's been watching Naruto the entire time, ever since. He told Akatsuki about him because Pain demanded to know what was going on, but he didn't tell them what he actually knew, as he left out a lot of things, including Naruto's eyes, as he hoped that Akatsuki wouldn't find out about that yet. But he wasn't so sure if this was Naruto Osusuke or someone entirely different with just his power, because he seemed not to remember anything. As a matter of fact, if this was Naruto Osusuke, all the Jews would be gathered by now, as he really wondered what was going on, so he decided to stay his distance until he saw an opening, until he saw something to convince him otherwise. Meanwhile, Naruto was having terrified dreams, Mito had made a deal with Snazzy to complete Rasengan in 1 week, and if she did, she'd come back with her. If she failed, all of them had to give over their money. As Naruto was having a dream of seeing a silhouette behind a strange glass. But he could not get to it, but the silhouette was shouting at him, but he couldn't hear exactly what he was calling out for. As he jumped out of bed. As he didn't even know that he met his other half right then and there. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? We begin this new episode in an open field area where several grunts could be heard. Grunts of annoyance. Until a tiny explosion could be heard, followed by another grunt of annoyance. The reason behind those grunts was none other than Mito Uzumaki herself, as she was currently working on the Rasengan, only to have the thing explode as she could not maintain the shape. As she sighed and held her hand in a wince of pain, she smiled when she saw that her hand was quickly healing thanks to the fox inside of her. Over the past few months of knowing the fox, the relationship has grown. Given that he was incredibly nice, she thought that he was supposed to be this mayhem of destruction. But hearing that he was separated by, well, what their father did, that made it all the better for her as he was so nice, and he always helped her any way he can. She hasn't even shown her brother yet that she can use his chakra. Only the person that knew about it was Jiraiya and Haku, as the both of them had helped her train with it. She wanted to be a surprise, to show her brother that she can maintain and control the power inside of her. Not to mention she wanted to be strong as well, so she can protect him once in a while, instead of him always have to protect her. At the moment, as she was failing badly at the Rasengan, Sasuke was standing there as he was looking at her. "What the hell is wrong?" she said. "It's not working." As Sasuke looked towards her, he was confused by the whole ordeal himself, as he saw Jiraiya did it so quickly. It's like I'm trying to look in two places at once. As she held out her hand once again as her chakra started to swirl. It started to swirl to the right and then swirl to the left. But the components were just not mixing, as she had to quickly release it before it exploded once again. As she sighed yet again, it's trying to look left and right at the same time to balance the chakra. But not even I can do that. No one can, she said. Well, I suppose if you have the Byakugan you can. Sasuke in a thinking pose. Well, actually you can. What do you mean? Well, remember what you tell me about your Shadow Clone Jutsu? That it passed on the memory to you. So why don't you have a clone look left and then you look right? When it dispel, you ought to get the information. Mito blinked. She got out of her feet and rushed forward and hugged Sasuke. "Thank you," she said. "You just gave me the greatest idea." "It's no big deal," Sasuke said, as Mito broke away from him. Sasuke then glanced towards her strangely. For the time being on a team with her and her, well, arrogant, ignorant older brother, Mito was always calmed his nerves. Yes, whenever she was around, he just seemed to be calm most of the time. And he doesn't even think so much about killing his brother. But when it comes towards her, it was different. As you remember in the academy, Sakura, Ino, and the other girls would fawn over him. They were always blushing around him. Yes, showing so much excitement, and could barely contain themselves. But when it comes to Mito, there wasn't even a trail of red on her cheeks. Did she just see him as a friend alone? Sasuke shook his head. What the hell was he thinking about? He doesn't have time for anything like that. At the moment, he has to focus on getting stronger to kill his brother. But the thought was still in the back of his mind. Yes, he was right. Not even an inch of red on her cheek when she hugged him a moment ago as she returned back doing what she was doing, as she summoned 10 clones in the process. Meanwhile, Jiraiya sighed. As he looked over the area, everything was destroyed. He knew he shouldn't have got Snazzy and Naruto together. He was just trying to help, but this was bad, really bad, as he needed to stop them. The reason why everything was destroyed and the place was this way was because of what happened earlier. Flashback. And why the hell should I, said Naruto. Look, kid. You and I both know that you're strong. So think about it. When she does become Hokage, do you really think she's gonna give you any high-class missions? If she hates you, nothing but DRC. She probably won't even promote you. After all, you did so well at Chunin exams. You should be looking forward towards a promotion. Not to mention you saved the village. So, do you really think she's gonna promote you at all? If you end up, well, being her enemy? Naruto sighed. He knew that Jiraiya was right. But, why the hell should he make up with that woman? She was the one that punched him. He just wanted to see what she really looked like under that illusion. As Jerry gave him a pointed stare. And think about it. What if Mito get promoted and you don't? She will be going on all kinds of dangerous missions and you won't be there to see if she's okay or protected. Jiraiya smirked as he saw he caught Naruto with that one. Naruto grumbled something before heading to the bar. Snazzy, I instantly twitched as he saw him. Naruto walked over. Huh? What the hell do you want? I told you I didn't want to see your face for the rest of the trip, or I would hurt you. Naruto sat down beside Shizune. I'm sorry, he said. As it was taking a lot of willpower to just admit that out flat. After all, he was not one to usually apologize. It just irked him for some reason. What? I said I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Naruto took a deep breath. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't hear it. Repeat it once again, she said. Listen, you old, shriveled up hag. Snazzy splashed the drink right in his face, cutting him off, making Naruto get a taste of the sake. As he thought about it now, he didn't drink. That was strange. Huh. He should probably take on drinking. This was so half bad. Knowing that, Snazzy looked at him. I saw a bit got in your mouth, she said. What, not a big fan of steak, she asked. Snazzy was drunk out of her mind and Shizune could see that. But, knowing her master, she would not leave the bar until late in the night. Well, it's not so bad, said Naruto, his anger fading away. Oh? Do you think you can handle your liquor, kid, she said. Well, you never know unless you test it. As Snazzy smiled, Jiraiya smiled as he saw Snazzy bringing over a steak to give Naruto. Huh, seems like he did something right. End of flashback. What the hell have I done, Jiraiya said, as the two colliding forces crashed in together. A massive shockwave shook the town once again as they were blown apart. They smashed into each other again before they were blown apart once again. Snazzy and Naruto picked themselves up, laughing as they were drunk as hell, the both of them swaying on their feet. Snazzy's entire body was cloaked in a powerful golden aura around her as she was releasing her power to the maximum. Seeing that she was, well, basically out of her mind now, she wasn't holding back, not the slightest. That was a problem on a small scale, but Shizune looked over the worried look on her face. Jiraiya-sama, we need to do something. As she was looking at Naruto, the silver chakra around him was destroying the area. Lucky Jiraiya had forced him to, well, go out in a clearing at the outskirts where no one could get injured, as they had laughed at him and run out here and ignored his very request. He really regretted the bad idea of getting them drunk. He could have stopped Naruto after the first drink. When he saw Naruto's eyes start to glaze over after the third drink, he knew it was bad, and he didn't stop them. He thought they would bond. Snazzy rushed over again and she smashed her fist into Naruto's face as she sent him flying towards a small crater. His body broke through it, destroying the entire thing. She laughed as Naruto got up. Not far enough, he said. Come on, one more try as he extended his arms. He was letting Snazzy punch him on purpose. She rushed over again, this time pulling back her fist. As she smashed it into his chin, he was knocked straight up into the sky. Jiraiya's eyes widened as he rushed forward to intervene. Now, he had to stop this or one of them get hurt, or even worse. Naruto came out of the sky like a rocket. Jiraiya couldn't even catch him in time as he smashed into the ground, destroying a huge section of it. He got back out of it as he was smiling from ear to ear. You know, you're one tough bastard, said Snazzy. To think I hate you at first. You're rather a nice looking kid, she said. Come on, let's go get some more to drink. Jiraiya stopped in front of them. That's enough for tonight, he said, extending both of his arms. Shizune also came up. Snazzy-sama, Naruto-san, you both of you need to calm down. We can't have you destroying the entire place. As Naruto looked like he was about to belch, Jiraiya felt a buildup of chakra and grabbed Shizune and jumped. As Naruto belched out a massive stream of flame that scorched the ground in front of him. Snazzy caught back her head as she started to laugh. As she punched the ground rippled and went straight over to Shizune and Jiraiya, who had to leap away. They think they can stop us, said Naruto. Yeah, shame on them. They're so stupid, said Snazzy. Come on, let's get some more to drink. As the both of them made their way towards the bar. Jiraiya sighed. Jiraiya-sama? Can you put me down now, please? As Shizune had a red mark on her face in embarrassment, seeing that his hand was on her butt. Oh, sorry about that, Shizune-san, he said, acting like he didn't do it on purpose. What are we gonna do? We need to calm them down. It's gonna be tough, given their wild personas seem to have just mixed together and create two separate monsters. I've never seen Tsunade-sama like this before. Seems like Naruto's bringing out the worst in her. Yeah, the utmost worst. Time skip. The group had to leave Tanzuka-gai. Tsunade was still not, well, convinced to come back as being the Hokage yet. It was not the reason why they were leaving. The reason why they were leaving was because a debt collector showed up last night and caught up on the junkie in Tsunade and Naruto, and he demanded Tsunade, well, pay him. Being and feeling protective, Naruto went a bit crazy. Before Jiraiya could arrive, he broke the man's bone, every single bone in the man's body, and an angry mob came to chase all of them out of the town, as they destroyed every single building around, as Naruto was throwing the man from building left to right, and also bursting through houses and bursting through bars, taking the liquor and drinking with Tsunade, getting even more drunk, the both of them losing what little sanity they had left. Lucky the poor man had survived all of that ordeal, as his bones were just broken, but many properties and buildings were destroyed, and a mob had created from town faction to hunt them down. So they had to flee, yes, they had to run away, as they didn't really want to start anything. Seeing that they woke up next morning, the both of them were in a strange pond. Well, it was a makeshift pond. It seems that Naruto ended up flooding the entire town last night. It was only because of Jiraiya's quick thinking to break open the ground and fall in the water inside that is why it remained. So they had to flee, as the entire town was after them, furious at what they have done. Well, Tanzuka-gai was a large gambling era, so they could survive. Yes, they had the money to rebuild back the town. But Naruto and Tsunade decided to flee, causing the others to run as well. That little, well, night of them drinking had made the two become quick friends. They went to the neighboring town, Kamiko, as this town was also largely known for its gambling and drinking as well. As the party started all over again, but on a small key this time, as they decided not to drink so much again and lose their mind. Despite having so much fun and feeling alive, Tsunade knew that the time will come, as she already spoken to Orochimaru before Jiraiya and Naruto and them got there. He could bring back her loved ones, if she just promised to heal his arms. Her mind had made up though, she knew what she needed to do. At the moment, she was currently looking down at Mito in the bed, as the girl had worked herself to exhaustion. She'll be fine now, said Tsunade as she looked to where Shizune was in the corner along with Sasuke. Jiraiya and Naruto was out somewhere, she didn't know where. Tsunade looked at girl's arms, they were slowly healing, but there were chakra, whiplash there, as she was working really hard. Her mind was fully made up now, seeing this more, well, pushed her to do what she had to do, but she had to do it alone. Time skip. Naruto blinked as he finally woke up, as he felt some kind of draft, as he wondered what the hell was that. Looking towards the door, he saw the door was open. What the hell? Why was his door open? His head was killing him. Suddenly his hand became silver, and he placed on his forehead a quick pain removal session. He then shook his head as he was back to normal. Getting out of bed, he saw Shizune at the foot of his bed. What the hell? He went down and touched her. Shizune. Shizune, he said. Shizune jumped up. She looked around. Lady Tsunade. What the hell is going on? Naruto-san. We have to stop her. Wait, said a voice. As Jiraiya came crawling in, the man looked to be heavily damaged for some reason, as Naruto wondered why, as he was sweating. Where is she? As Shizune looked at them, she thought that Lady Tsunade was actually going to leave, but she went there instead. She started to tell them what happened, as she went out to meet up with Orochimaru. They were supposed to meet at the outskirts of Tanzuka-gai at the castle, as Jiraiya then explained that she poisoned him last night. Not a poison to kill, but to mess with his chakra system. Naruto sighed as he walked over, as Shizune went to wake up Mito and Sasuke. As Naruto's hand became green, he then placed on Jiraiya's forehead. Hey, what are you? Jiraiya went quiet as he felt the power rush through his system. All the toxin was burned away out of his system before Naruto stepped back. Better, he said. Yeah, actually, said Jiraiya, got to his feet. What the hell did you do? He asked. Just another miracle of Naruto Uzumaki. Huh. Good timing miracle, Jiraiya said. Shizune then came back with the other two. Sasuke rubbed his eyes. It was quite early, as Mito was alert already, wondering what was going on. As she could tell that something was going on, seeing look on Shizune's face. Shizune had a cup for Jiraiya to drink. No bother, he said, but this would help. The kid already took care of that. Wait, what? Totally fine now, Jiraiya said. Come on, we don't have time to waste. Wait, what's going on, said Sasuke. Well, seems our new Hokage has gotten herself into some trouble, and now we have to go save her ass, said Naruto. What kind of trouble? Asked Sasuke. Yeah, what's going on, said Mito. Shizune will explain on the way, said Naruto. Come on. And with that, the group headed off. Meanwhile, Tsunade was currently standing in front of Orochimaru. As she started to step forward, her hands started to glow green. Orochimaru had a smile on his face until a kunai stopped Tsunade from going any further. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Kabuto, what are you? My lord, this will not help you. It will just further harm you. I know a bit about medical ninjutsu myself. Isn't that right, Tsunade-san, he said. Tsunade smirked. So, you betrayed me. Betrayed you? That's quite funny coming from someone like you. But it doesn't matter what happens, because none of you are leaving here today alive. Oh, is that so? Kabuto, take her. Do you really think your lackey can take me? We'll just have to see, said Orochimaru. As Tsunade slammed her hand into the wall, it broke down completely. Then, let's see, she said. Kabuto came towards her, but she dodged each and every one of his attacks. Before appearing and knocking him back of the neck, he fell down. Kabuto felt his body twitch as he couldn't move. She rushed straight towards Orochimaru and ended up killing him as she drove her fist, but he leaped away. Her fist gouged out a large part of the earth. It was then that Kabuto got back up. I told you, I'm a bit of a medic myself. Tsunade turned back towards him as he started to attack her with chakra scalpels, only for her to dodge, before she slammed a kick into his stomach. Blood spurted from his mouth as he skidded on his feet, as he dropped and coughed up blood. What the hell? She was hitting him right in his points that were affecting him gravely. He placed his hand on his stomach and he started to heal himself. Tsunade wasted no time as she appeared in front of him as she drove her fist down, only for Kabuto to come up and flash his hand towards her face. Tsunade's entire world froze right there and then, as blood splashed on her. Kabuto has bitten his hand on purpose to flash blood on her. He got to his feet. You're a strong one. I see now why you're single, he said. That wasn't very nice, Kabuto, said Orochimaru. Well, it's true, Kabuto said. It seems your ability is still useless when it comes to your phobia. How are you doing there, Tsunade? Asked Orochimaru. Tsunade continued to shake as Kabuto stepped forward, as he kicked her down to the ground. Oh, Kabuto, you're not playing so nice, Orochimaru said. She needs to learn her place. Trying to kill you, my lord. Well, I suppose you're right. As Kabuto reached forward, Tsunade slapped away his hand as she was shaking, only for him to kick her once again. But he had to quickly turn and dodge several senmons that came towards him. Needle jive those to the voice, as the both of them had to leap away as the senmons stabbed into the ground. These ones, they were much thicker and hard. She's only landing beside Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, are you okay? She said. Tsunade was still shaking. Because we became friends over the little time period, I'm not gonna ask you why the hell you're afraid of blood when you're a medic nin, but I have to say, that's stupid, said Naruto. Orochimaru's eyes froze as he heard that voice. As he remembered in the forest of death. Flashback. Orochimaru was lying on the ground off the secret basement, in the hideout that he had in the forest of death. Blood leaking from every part of his body, as he tried to shed his skin once again, but his body was still being harmed on the inside, as Naruto had damaged him on a microscopic level. If it wasn't for Kabuto and the team, he would have been dead, but luckily he was found when he had managed to send one of his snakes out to try and find Kabuto. Yes, and Kabuto had saved his life. So Orochimaru trembled a bit, just the slightest, as he looked over. Oh, it's you, said Naruto. Naruto smiled. You know, we never got to finish our fight in the forest of death. Naruto, I'll handle him, Jiraiya said. What? Said Naruto. I'll handle him. Why don't you take on that apprentice of his? He's not worth my time. Oh, you hurt me, Naruto-san. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. Don't you remember him? Said Sasuke. Huh? Well, not really. He was in the tuning exams. The first round, brother? Don't you remember? Huh. Well, no. Sorry. I don't remember or keep unimportant people in my mind, said Naruto. Ah, Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru said before Kabuto could retort. I see you here as well. How have you been doing, my little gift? He said that smirk. Sasuke smirked back. All of that crap that you tried to do to me, it all failed. As Sasuke moved his head a bit, Orochimaru's eyes narrowed in confusion. As he saw his mark in no silver. What have you done? Oh, that's me, said Naruto. I kind of purged you from his soul, you disgusting snake freak, said Naruto. I mean, preying on young boys. You disgust me, Naruto said, as his staff materialized in his hand from around his neck. As he tossed it towards Orochimaru, Orochimaru smirked. That is way too slow, as he simply moved out of the way, only for the staff to explode into tiny pieces, littering through Orochimaru's body. He instantly dropped to the ground. He immediately opened his mouth as he crawled out of it quite quickly. The moment he did, his shell, his flesh, like a shed skin, started to be evaporating. As he looked at it with a weary eye, as Naruto's staff materialized back together from the small pieces. I'll handle him, said Sasuke as he glanced over towards Kabuto. I'll help, said Mito. You stay out of this, big brother. Just watch yourself, said Naruto. Although he doesn't look it, I can tell that he has quite the amount of chakra, and he seemed to have good control over it. So he's probably skilled. Well, that would be right. You see, I'm on the same level as your sensei, Kakashi Hatake. I really hope that you're not talking to me, because if you're not on the same level as the Raikage, you're not in my league. Oh, you're rather arrogant, aren't you? Kabuto says he moved forward, only for Mito and Sasuke to move forward as well. Jiraiya made his way towards Orochimaru in the fighting start, as Naruto walked over as Shizune was completely removing the blood from her. Naruto sighed and he sat down right in front of Tsunade, who was still shaking, before he grabbed her hands. Force suddenly looked up on him. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, I know, you lost people in the past, but turning into a mess like this, just by a drop of blood, that's quite stupid, said Naruto. Snap out of it as he shook her a bit. Naruto-san, be quiet, Shizune, said Naruto. I mean, if you keep on babying her, she would just continue to act like a baby. Drinking and having fun was good. But, is this it? Is this what you're gonna do for the rest of your life, said Naruto. Being nothing but a drunk and a gambler. Tsunade didn't say a word as Naruto sighed. You know, whoever you lost will probably be disappointed. After all, they lost their life. And now they have to watch you turn yourself into a piece of crap. Remember, you'll be joining them soon, because it's not like you're that young. So keep on acting this way. They would only meet you with disappointing faces. As he got to his feet fully, those words really struck Tsunade, as she thought about Dan and Noake. It was the both of their dreams to become Hokage, and here she was, given the opportunity to do it, and she was declining it. She was wasting her life, it was truth. As she looked down at her hands, that were still shaking, as she could see their blood, she could see that she was unable to save them. But now she had a chance to do something else, by helping out the entire village, and making them live their dream through her. Perhaps he was right. She looked up but Naruto was gone. Meanwhile, Kabuto clashed violently against Mito chains, his chakra scalpels scraping the chains but not breaking them completely. Sasuke flipped through hand sign, first style, Phoenix Dragon Jutsu, as Sasuke breathed out 10 small dragons that were made from flames, as they all went towards Kabuto. Kabuto twisted and leaped and dodged each and every one of them. His eyes were focused on the dragon and he at the same time focused on chains. But he never thought Mito could produce so much. Several chains exploded from the ground as they were coming from Mito's legs, going underground. As they came towards him, he twisted in the air, only for Sasuke to went through handstand once again. His hands started to spark with electricity as he rushed forward. Kabuto was in mid-air, so he could not fall, and he could not move just in time. Kabuto smirked seeing him coming, as he pulled out a paper tag and tossed it towards Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes went wide and things started to sizzle. A barrier of chains quickly erupted in front of him, blocking the explosion. Kabuto used a push in momentum to flip onto his feet and landed aside. It was luck that he threw it so far, or he would have get hurt too. He smirked towards the two of them. The both of you have good teamwork, but I'm afraid you're just not on my level, he said. Suddenly, Naruto landed beside Mito. As Kabuto looked around, where the hell did he came from? Was he flying? Didn't see him anywhere. Hey, Mito, why don't you go and help out the woman over there, said Naruto. Huh? Well, you want to become Hokage, so you have the better words to deal with her. She's lacking motivation right now. I'll handle this. Go and help her out, said Naruto. Oh, okay. Well, I have to show her my new ability anyway. She says she made her way over. As Tsunade looked up to see Mito coming towards her. Oh, hello there, Tsunade-sama, she said. Tsunade still did not reply. I heard about your hemophobia from Shizune before we even came here. I know this is probably because you lost so many people. And as much as I want to say it, I can't really, relate. I never knew my parents. They died before I was even born. So having someone and losing them are two complete different things. But whoever they are, I'm sure they're, wanting to see you move on with your life and make something better of it instead of just going around gambling and drinking. They would be happy to see you doing something else, wouldn't they? Shizune looked there. As she saw Tsunade listen to the words, usually when she tried to speak to her about this, she simply shrugged her off. And watch. As Mito created a clone, the clone then started to gather and rotate his hand. Suddenly, a perfect Rasengan was there. Mito smiled. I did it. So, isn't this, job complete for you to come back to the village? Tsunade's eye twitched just a bit, as her mouth was about to move to say something, when suddenly, watch out, a voice yelled! As Naruto turned just in time, everything seemed to slow down for just that moment. As a volley of snakes smashed into Shizune, throwing her away. Orochimaru was there, as he had the Kusanagi blade in his hand, ready to run right through Mito for some reason. Flashback, a few minutes earlier, Orochimaru's head slammed into the ground with so much force that his body shook. He had to quickly leap away as Jiraiya crashed down. Having fully being 100% and Orochimaru not having any arms to use to utilize most ninjutsu, he was completely at a disadvantage. You can't win. There is no way possible. Give up, said Jiraiya. Jiraiya, even after all these years, you still haven't given up on trying to make me see the light. Quite stupid. Orochimaru said as he opened his mouth. Hundreds of snakes started to come towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya cursed as he went through Hansign. Swamp of the underworld, he said. Only for Orochimaru to shoot several snakes over it, and they swarmed down on Jiraiya. Orochimaru then scanned the field as he saw Kabuto was blown back by that boy. As he wanted to make him suffer, as you remember, being in the forest thinking that he was going to die because of some brat. And the only way to make people suffer, it is not to hurt them, but hurting someone so close to them, it literally pained them, to make them wish they weren't alive. Orochimaru opened his mouth and a snake came out. The snake opened its mouth as a blade of Kusanagi came out. He shot forward as several snakes rushed towards them quickly. Where Tsunade was as they rushed towards Shizune, forced her to move as they came down on her like a storm. Mito turned just in time. Tsunade's eyes widened as she turned her head, but it was too late, as she was pushed out of the way. Yes, Tsunade was thrown by Mito, who turned her body. The sound of metal sliding the flesh could be heard as Orochimaru Kusanagi blade slid right through Mito. Mito Sasuke screamed! As everything went quiet for Naruto. Sasuke shot forward as Kabuto was going after him. I'm afraid your fight is with me, Sasuke-kun, he said, as he tried to attack him, delaying Sasuke. Naruto stood there. Meanwhile, in a strange dimension, two people are sitting down. They have been talking for some time now about events and wondering if it would ever happen. The both of them looked at their palm when they felt it. Rinnegan eyes and Byakugan eyes could be seen in the darkness. Inside of their palm was the same crystal that Naruto had, the same diamond, cracked in the same way, only one remained in each of them palm. Suddenly that diamond cracked. The both of them got quite frantic. The one with the Byakugan eyes couldn't believe it. It was happening. He swore. He looked towards his other companion there. He promised us what he would do. This is bad. This is really, really bad, he said as he started to panic. The other one just looked there with a shocked expression on his face. His seal was strong enough to hold back Mother. It was powerful enough to seal away Mother, and he had more complex Fuinjutsu, knowing how strong he was. But still it failed. It has broken, and there was literally nothing they could do. He then turned his head, where suddenly it seemed like there was a rip in dimension. It couldn't be seen from the outside world, but they could see it. Him standing there. They know that that was their brother, Naruto Osusuke. They know the events that happened that caused this, which they cursed they couldn't stop. But now watching him, the Rinnegan bearer saw the reason why. That girl that he's taken to be his sister. She was stabbed. Back in the real world, Tsunade got to her feet as Orochimaru pulled back his blade, relishing in killing this girl. Mito fell down, her body dropping. As Naruto started to walk, his eyes were dull, incredibly dull. That was enough to snap Tsunade out of her funk though, as she quickly started to press her hands on Mito's chest. She was wasting time. She couldn't allow this one to die like the others. As she focused her healing chakra, Orochimaru laughed. It doesn't matter what you do, Haim. Orochimaru had to leave away after Jiraiya almost crushed his skull, as he landed back with a smirk on his face. You won't be able to save her. The poison in my blade, it's uncurable. It destroys human cell within seconds. There's nothing that you can... Orochimaru's teeth was broken out of his mouth when the blade was yanked violently by something, a force, that caused him to pull forward as well, but he had to release it well, more like it broke his teeth to come out. Naruto caught onto the blade as it came right in his palm. The blade started to melt as his hands started to turn red until there was nothing left but lava eating away at the blade itself. As Naruto started to walk again, Orochimaru looked on with shock, blood leaking from his mouth. You, he said. Kabuto was still facing off against a furious Sasuke who was going all out. Kabuto was shocked as he found himself surprised and being caught off guard by Sasuke's speed. Sasuke's entire body was covered by that silver glow. His Sharingan were completely silver now, as he clashed violently, ripping through the ground as he moved with his Chidori. Chidori Senbon, he said, as Chidori fired all thousands of mini needles. Kabuto tried to spin and block as many as he can, but he got impaled with a few of them, forcing him to leap back. Meanwhile, Naruto arrived. Tsunade looked up. Before she could say anything, she was black-handed away. Tsunade stamped she's when he cried out, Naruto, she's just trying to help. What are you doing? Naruto kneeled down. His eyes were still hollow. He placed a hand on Mito's wound. Wait, brother, said Mito, as blood was at her mouth. Suddenly, he started to pull back his hand. A black toxin started to be pulled out of Mito's body. Mito's eyes started to open up as she winced in pain before Naruto pulled back his hand completely. The black toxin was all gone. As he flashed to the side, Orochimaru blinked. It was a poison. As Naruto simply tapped Mito on the head with his finger, a volt of silver chakra also rushed through her body. In a second, the wound was gone, steam coming from it. Getting to his feet, Naruto started to walk. He wasn't walking towards Orochimaru. Jiraiya blinked. Kid, are you okay? He said, as he couldn't have Naruto losing his mind right now. As Naruto then fell down, and he started to scream. A blood-curdling scream that none has ever heard before. It was like his very soul was being ripped apart. As the sky started to change, the entire atmosphere started to change. The reason why this was going on, a few seconds earlier, Osusuke Naruto felt it. A pull, a yank on his power. Naruto Uzumaki was losing it. He was begging, he was calling for his power. Even if it was not willingly, he was still calling for it. Otsutsuki Naruto spread his arms as he screamed. A terrible blood-curdling scream that blew silver chakra from every instant point of his body. Silver chakra was coming out of him like wave. They smashed like a tidal wave in the seal. Over and over and over and over. Until it couldn't handle it anymore because, on the other side, Naruto Uzumaki was sending chakra as well. As the two colliding chakras broke it. It exploded. The entire field was turned to a wasteland ground. Nothing but black ground, scorched trees. Everything was destroyed from the rush of chakra. Otsutsuki Naruto stood there. He couldn't believe it. He was free. He was finally free. He started to laugh. A blood-curdling laugh that would have made the devil itself scared. Until his power started to went wild. He started to flux his power. Power that was never seen to this world before. The power that even rivaled Jubi in chakra capacity. The power that hailed this man as a literal god. As he exploded with pure unbridled power, his rage exploded outwards. It was time for Hagoromo and Hamura to finally pay. They will reap what they have sowed. They will pay for what they have done. As he watched as Naruto Uzumaki appear in the seal. Well, no longer a seal. Naruto blinked as he looked around confused. What was going on? He remembered going to Mito as he could only see flashes of it. And then pain. Pain like his chakra coils were being stretched to their limit. Ah, that is just your full power returning. You don't have to worry. Naruto turned as he saw someone standing there. It was him. What the hell? The man that was standing there was him. But instead he had golden eyes and white hair and much taller, and he looked more manly. But it was definitely him. Who are you? Said Naruto. I am you. I'm not in a mood to deal with this bullshit. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. Well, I see that the both of our attitudes are quite the same. That I can respect. Seeing that you're not a naive fool. Look, I don't know who the hell you are. And I'm real not in a mood to deal with this crap. I told you already, I am you. How the hell can you be me? I am me, said Naruto. Well, you are me. What? Think about it. You've always wondered why you're so powerful. You always wonder why you seem to be a god amongst man, don't you? Don't lie to me. I know what you might be thinking, and your thoughts. You know that you're different from everyone else. None of these humans can even rival you. If it wasn't for your enjoyment of battle, you would have slaughtered everyone you fight so far. I know, because I enjoyed it myself. After all, I spent many hours facing off against my brothers. Well, I feel like it's good to call him that now. After all, I'm finally free. And I want to see their faces when they know that. They already probably know. Look, what the hell are you talking about, said Naruto? Well, it will all make sense soon enough. But for now, Otsutsuki Naruto started to walk forward. What are you doing, said Naruto? Letting you understand. Naruto stepped back, letting me understand what? Just be quiet. You will understand soon enough. You've already said that, and I want to know what the heck. The man burst into particles. The particle came towards Naruto, went through hand sign to stop it. As he slammed his hand on the ground, a massive earth wall erupted in front of him. He didn't know what the hell was going on, but this seemed bad. Particles simply passed right through and slammed into Naruto as the force completely overwhelmed him. Outside the real world, what the hell is going on, said Mito, as at the moment Jerry was holding on to her and Sasuke so they weren't sent flying away, as he had to bury his foot in the ground with chakra, so much in fact as the ground was literally being ripped apart. Shizune and Snaddy were standing their grounds as Snaddy was standing in front of Shizune to block her from this impressive force. Jiraiya, he lost it. As Jiraiya looked towards Snaddy. Flashback. The both of them were sitting down. inside the bar, as it was in the week while Naruto and Snappy had been drinking but not too excessive yet. So tell me, Jiraiya, I never asked, what's up with that kid? What do you mean? Said Jiraiya. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's just a kid. How is he that powerful? To that time, I don't even know. Not even our sensei knew. He's just one of a kind. That still doesn't make any sense, Jiraiya. From what you've told me, that boy has been able to take on the Raikage and the 8-tailed Jinchuriki by himself. What is he? 10? 11? Well, actually 13. But still, how is he that powerful? To tell the truth, I don't need to know. I've tried to figure that mystery so many times, it's just giving me a headache right now. You never asked him? Well, he doesn't know himself. Are you sure? Why would he lie? I mean, as you can see, he's rather a graceful person. He doesn't really lie when you ask him straight questions. Yeah, you're right. But he's too forwarding. Yeah, he can be that sometimes, said Jiraiya. He doesn't really hold back emotions, and he just talk what he sees, and do what he believes. It's right for him. Yeah, but that can get him in trouble. So much trouble, said Snappy as she clenched her fists. Come on, Hein. You'll have to make friends with him, you know that? And why the hell do I have to? Because becoming the Hokage, you have to be on good relationship with your strong shinobis. And who the hell said I'll become the Hokage? Jiraiya simply smiled. No, tell me, who the hell said I would do it? He just looked at her with a smile once again. You're really pissing me off, she said to him. End of flashback. As the both of them gave each other a look. As they had spoken that night about what would happen if Naruto was ever to turn bad. Given that the boy was so much powerful already, which one of them could actually stop him? As Jiraiya knew that he could take on the Raikage and the 8-tails himself. Well, if he go into Sage mode, he'd probably have a chance, but the 8-tailed Jinchuriki, who had full control over his Biju, that was hard. That was difficult, extremely so. Brother, calm down, said Mito as she screamed on top of her lungs. I'm okay, I'm fine. Stop this, she screamed. But nothing was getting through. He was just screaming like he was in pain. Like he never felt before. She sent out her chains only for them to be blown back by the force that Naruto was releasing. Kabuto and Orochimaru looked up in the sky. Orochimaru-sama, it would be best if we leave this place. No, Kabuto, not just yet. Something is happening. Something that I believe will change this very world. Do you really believe this boy is that Kabuto? You've seen the signs already. This boy is one of a kind. Something special. And now, I want to see what is going to happen. But my lord, you were the one that injured your sister. Don't you think it doesn't matter? By the time this is all over, we'll be long gone. Just hold on for a moment or two. Kabuto nodded but he read himself just in case for anything. As Naruto's screaming started intense even more, until the sky above them started to rumble. Mito looked up, the entire sky became red. The entire place was shaking. Buildings in the surrounding villages were being destroyed. A wisp of gusts were ripping through everywhere. As for Naruto, he felt like his literal body was being teared apart. And suddenly, it happened. Boom! A massive explosion. Jiraiya flipped through hand sign. Earth style. 4. Wall blockade, he says. He slammed his hand down, pushing as much chakra as possible. He created a massive hut over them. As the thing was smashed by the force of the explosion, the walls bristled and cracked by the force. Orochimaru summoned a massive snake. Well, Kabuto did, seeing that his arms were messed up, as it coiled around them, protecting them from the explosion. As the snake body was squelched outside by the force, pushed back, forcing the snake to stay his grounds, to bury his fangs into the ground so he wouldn't be blown away. He had to resort to those tactics. When everything finally died down, Naruto was standing right there. But he was different. Yes, he was. His hair was now white. And his eyes, as he could see, his eyes were golden. As he looked around, with a gleam in his eye, like this world was new to him for some reason, Jiraiya dropped the wall as he looked out. As Naruto looked at his arms and flexed them. Why the hell is my body still so small? He said. His voice and everything was still the same, except for his hair and eyes. I'll have to grow up once again. A waste of time. But it doesn't matter, does it? Let's see if it does, as he turned his arm away from the group. An explosion rippled out where he pointed his arm. The entire drone was caved in. Orochimaru blinked, as Kabuto and everyone else did. Mito felt that as well, but she was unsure what that was. What was that? Snappy was trembling, but not because of the blood, but because of what she just felt. They felt his chakra. But there was nothing. No limit. They felt a well of chakra. It was brought to the surface when he released that blast. But then, nothing. How is that even possible? They felt no ending. It felt so overwhelming just standing next to him, even though they weren't directly next to him. What the hell is going on? Said Snatty. As Jiraiya looked over, he turned towards Mito. Mito was looking at her brother. Big brother, she said. But he did not answer. Big brother, she cried out. But still, he did not answer. She rushed forward over Jiraiya to grab her hand. What are you doing, Pervisace? Let me go. I need to go talk to him. Mito, something is wrong. He started to laugh. Orochimaru, seen as much as he wanted, as Naruto glanced towards him, laughing the entire time. He quickly escaped with Kabuto. Naruto looked up in the air. Hagoromo! Hamura! It seems like your misdeeds ain't here. All that you have done, the lying, deceitful tactics, just to steal me away. It was all for naught because I'm free. I'm finally free! And I'm gonna make good on that promise. This world is already a shit show compared to what you thought it would be. But I intend to make it so much worse. Do you hear me? He screamed. I'm finally back. I walk the earth once again. All will crumble and tremble in fear at my name. Naruto Asusuki, he screamed. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. For things part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.